Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here. In this video I'm going to be bringing in Adronis, and Adronis is going to be talking about the shadow's role. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings. Thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius. We say hello to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We shall elaborate on the idea of what you would know as the shadow's role. The idea of one of the greatest distortions pertaining in the idea of the spiritual communities on many different levels relates to the idea of always wanting to behave like the moth, where the moth always, in any particular form, attempts to come to the light, to where you see a very large torch and you see a roaring fire throughout that torch. The moth therefore follows that flame. It follows the light. It cares less about the idea of the darkness that surrounds it, yet it will always seek the light. Yet when it attempts to bond together with that light, it burns up. This therefore represents the analogy of when you are constantly following the light, not being able to admit your own darkness, you become burnt up with the idea of looking at this neglect. The light becomes too strong. The light becomes too powerful. You're not able to embrace it, and you therefore become burned. And it's burned because of the idea of how you are not embracing the shadow. That's what leads to the moth's burn. That's what therefore leads to your own burn. The shadow here is, again, the teacher of your reality. So, when we are looking at the shadow's role, when we understand that there have certainly been a lot of challenges, hardships, other forms of tensions taking place upon your life throughout the woes that you have gone through, here is what we say. Do not align yourself. Align to the idea about what the shadow is attempting to tell you about your misalignment. That is the key here. Whether you are feeling that you go through this intense experience, that you're again going through many different trials and tribulations as it relates to the shadow, by you only gripping towards the light like that little moth and attempting to go to the light so much that you risk getting burned, and you're burned because you do not understand what your shadow is attempting to tell you. It's about staying in that particular form of what the shadow is attempting to tell you, so that you are able to move yourself into that eventual realignment. But you need to look into the idea of where you feel that you are struggling. Just like this conduit shared just not too long ago, as it relates to his own history, as it relates to his own inadequacies, his own insecurities, his own particular forms of challenges. It was all just part and parcel of the idea of him understanding this on a deeper level by being able to talk about it and therefore realizing where there has been residual effects there. Well, the same thing goes for many of you, is that many of you may have intensities, some of you may have residuals, but nonetheless you're looking at it, which means you're remaining within the dark until you get a grasp, a true realization of knowing that you wish to change. If you have no interest in changing, you have not embraced your shadow enough, which means your shadow hasn't really caused you to be frightened enough, scared enough, no longer preferring enough of the idea of the shadow to move you forward. So we would say, let the shadow bond with you. Let it connect to you and show you this is everything that you know that you are not. You will eventually reach that point of realization, telling yourself, well, thank you so much, shadow, for showing me who I am not, and now I'm able to realize what I've been holding on to. I have now been able to realize that everything that is happening within my life right now is all part of me wearing a mask, where I feel I cannot be myself because I block myself in every particular aspect that I can because I'm too busy making choices. I'm not able to make a decision. So remain with the shadow. Let it educate you. Let it tell you exactly where you feel your despair lies. Let it tell you all about what you're holding on to, what you feel you're not able to realize. Because basically, when we share a lot of information, sometimes it can be harsh, sometimes it can be something brand new, and again, that fear of the unknown may kick in. And there may be that aspect of wondering, well, is it still going to be a positive experience? Is it still going to be positive that's going to happen to me? Is there going to be some type of positive upliftment as it relates to what you're sharing here and now? Again, the whole idea is that you want to look at what that feeling that we share or another shares together with you to understand the reaction that you're going through. Once you understand that reaction and saying, oh my goodness, I realize this is not who I am, I'm able to shift this. So you remain where you are in the aspect of shadow for it to educate you, for it to teach you. And as you become taught, as you realize, that therefore allows you to turn the head. So many of you talk about the idea of being in harmonic alignment. So many of you talk about the idea of saying, just don't worry about this, let it go, and therefore move into the light. The light is still on your mind. It's always there with the feeling that you must go into the light, that you must follow the light, again like that moth. No. Listen to what your darkness is saying to you. Because yes, it's true, the light will always be there. But you're still in the alignment of darkness, and you're looking towards the light as a state of identity. And that's where you become burned. It's the idea that darkness is attempting to tell you everything that has been manufactured erroneously pertaining to yourself. Listen to it. Rather than saying, oh, I don't like the darkness, I'm just going to go ahead and follow the light, and I'm going to tuck tails and run away. And that's what you do. And again, as soon as you try to follow that light, the aspect of that burn happens because you're not becoming the frequency of that light. You haven't hit the catapult effect. The catapult hasn't taken place yet because you're still not getting it from the shadow's role. You're still not understanding the teacher here of shadow. It is when you hit realization, for the realization that you're able to turn your head and see another perspective beyond what you're seeing right now, that therefore triggers the degree to where you catapult, to where the catapult fires and you go off into the light because you become it. You do not seek it. If you seek the light, you will get burned. We can guarantee you that. If you start to listen to your shadow telling you this is what you need to do, because I'm showing everything to you that you're not, and you therefore get it. You realize it. Aha, that's it. This is what I've been holding on to because my moment of realization has allowed me to turn my head, has allowed me to see realization, and there is the light. Rather than me trying to conjure up a light that I know is only going to burn me, because I do not feel worthy, I don't feel I deserve to be in this light, I just want to seek it like a moth to a flame. And that's where you become burned. So again, the burning comes through yourself, feeling that you are not the light, that the light is just something outside of yourself, something you need to seek, and there goes the moth, poof, completely encompassed in flame and burned away. So rather than trying to burn yourself because you're not realizing what your shadow is attempting to tell you, give your shadow some time. Let it work together with you. Even though you feel it is the opposite vibration to what you know you naturally are, it still is teaching you everything. It's the aspect in that idea of saying, here I am, here's your shadow, here's your despair, here's your anger, here's your aggression, here's your hostility, here's your fear. What do you think? And now you go into it deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and say, okay, that's it. I realize now what I've been holding on to. I realize now this no longer serves me. I realize now I am no longer this identity that the shadow is attempting to impress upon me. Aha moment. Turning the head. There's the light. Because this is not just something that I'm seeing, it's something that I'm becoming. It's a spark that lights up the night. And it becomes a roaring inferno the more that you realize this is what I've been holding on to this whole time. And this is now what I know I can truly transcend past because I've allowed the shadow to educate me. Without the shadow educating yourself, you will not be able to enter the light as profoundly as you can. You simply dance around in a circle. Everybody is applauding you. Everybody is giving you compliments. Everybody feels like you are doing so well. And you just continue to dance around that circle. That initiates no change. But when you're in the shadows, when you're looking at your darkness, when you're looking at your despair, your hostility, your fear, and you realize, okay, that's it. I've gotten enough of the shadow right now to allow me to tilt my head, to bring myself into a greater perspective about who I'm not. And I'm able to bring this shadow aspect of myself into the light with me. Your shadow goes with you. It doesn't stay where it is. Darkness will always be darkness, but your shadow is moving with you. You're taking it by the hand and saying, okay, shadow, this is not who we are anymore. Let's come into the light together. Let's integrate ourselves. Let's be one together because that's our natural frequency. Again, so many people seek the light. That is a misconception. It is about the idea of becoming the light once realization comes to you. Work with the darkness until that realization comes. When that realization comes, you're now able to move into the light, to become the light, to align to the light. You are the light because of the refinement of yourself that was made through the aspect of realization, through the aspect of compassion, through the aspect of forgiveness, that therefore brings you into a transformation. That little cocoon that now bursts that butterfly, rather than seeing yourself as the dark little caterpillar, again, still attempting to seek the light, or again, looking at the moth analogy in that way too, but again, helping you to understand that it is not about seeking the light. It is not about thinking that the light is outside of yourself. Those that enter the light are catapulted into it. It can't happen any other way. Because you see a light before you, you still don't understand it. It still becomes an enigma. Now, when you again have that realization, the light becomes you. You are that light. There is no light outside. It is the idea that you have been dealing inside with your darkness, where you've been seeing your dark tunnels, where you've been seeing your shadows cast upon the wall because of the obstructions that you have put in its place. And now the compassion of yourself comes in. It works with you to disassemble all the aspects of obstructions that you have put together that is preventing you from seeing your own light from within. And once that becomes realized and deconstructed, now you're the light. You peel everything else off and you've seen that the light is within you all this time. Has never been anywhere else. But you must go through those dark caves. Go through those dark tunnels to let yourself become aware that shadow is a teacher. That's what it does. It will show you everything, every single thing that you know you naturally are not. I am not a person who complains. I'm not a person who's judgmental. I'm not a person who's in despair. I'm not a person who's in absolute fear. I'm afraid of life. I'm afraid of talking to people. I'm afraid of my past. I'm afraid I'm not making enough money. I'm afraid I'm in the wrong career, etc., etc., etc. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So then when you realize, here's the breaking point. Here's the point that actually hits a point of no return, and realization comes forward and saying, that's all. That's it. That's all I need to experience from the darkness. Come with me, darkness. I've realized who I am. And I'm bringing compassion instantly in that moment to me. And compassion is lifting me out of the tar. It's helping me to look that there is a shovel that comes out of the dark tunnel, and there is a hole that leads all the way up to the light. Well, I'm going to board my catapult, I'm going to pull the lever, and I shoot through that hole, and into the light I go. That is the understanding. That is the idea here. Letting shadow educate you until it does not need to educate you anymore, because you have brought realization into yourself. For that is the shadow's role. Thank you everybody for tuning in to New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Please feel free to visit our website, newearthteachings.com. Private sessions, digital courses, blog, free media, and a lot more. Again, newearthteachings.com. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next video. Take care.